Mr. Moily, let's pick up on the point that you heard Mr. Tripathi make a moment ago. He says that the problem began in January when the Congress insisted that it would only have state-level alliances and not national alliances. And the message that you sent out at that moment of time was that you were more interested in strengthening the Congress party rather than strengthening the UPA. And as a result, the bonds that held the UPA together began to loosen and untie. And now the components are going in their different directions. So do you accept that the fault lies with Congress?
I don't agree, because that has been our conscious decision. You may kindly recollect that, Congress has never been for a coalition arrangement. Even in 1989, when we had 190 Lok Sabha seats, Rajiv ji refused to form a government, saying that, I can't give a stable government, with any coalition arrangement. Same thing happened in 1996, when Congress had 160 seats. We refused to form a coalition government because we never believed in that. Of course, in 2004, we realized that, there should be, the coalition has come to stay. There should be a coalition, but with some limitations, that the coalition will have to be limited to the state level.
Can I interrupt you? Can I interrupt you and put this to you? On the one hand, you're saying that the UPA remains united and an alliance. On the other hand, you're saying Congress is not in favor of coalitions. How can you hold the second view and still claim that you want the UPA united? Your rhetoric and the thinking behind it is enough to put your allies off. Instead of drawing them closer, you're pushing them away.
No, you remember, you make one instance I'm giving to you. I do appreciate what Mr. Tripathi has said. Yes, they wanted an alliance at the national level. That was not agreed to. We confined our alliance only in Maharashtra, 1 or 2 seats. Sometime, we had an adjustment in Chhattisgarh or Madhya Pradesh. But I must tell you that Meghalaya, how can you have an alliance? It was not possible. And whether Mr. B.A. Sangma will agree for that kind of an alliance. But these are all the problems,
why bring up Meghalaya to prove your point? You could have had an alliance in UP, you needed one. You could have had an alliance in Bihar, you needed one. There, your own pride and maybe your mistaken belief in your strength has stopped you.
We are not at fault either in Bihar or UP. Sorry for interruption. Okay. Initiative was taken only by Mr. Lalu Prasad, who is a valued friend, and also Mr. Paswan ji. They just, together they discussed, arbitrarily decided only 2 or 3 seats will be given. Same thing happened with the SP in UP, when they also went on declaring the seats. So it was not broken at our instance. But still, since they maintain that it is not broken, we also maintain it is not broken. We don't want to burn the bridges.
All right.
We would like to continue to be associated.
You don't want to.
Things can happen.
Can I stop you?
Extreme case.
Can I stop you? You don't want to burn the bridges. The problem is that the bridges are collapsing of their own. Let me bring in Mr. Tripathi. Mr. Tripathi, up till now I've been suggesting to Mr. Moily that Congress is responsible. I was in a sense pursuing the line of argument you gave me. But let me put it to you, that if the UP is collapsing, then as much responsibility falls on the shoulders of people like Mulayam Singh Yadav, Lalu Yadav and Ramvilas Paswan, who have now got together and created a little bloc within the UPA, and the sole purpose seems to be to isolate Congress in this alliance. And it's rumoured that your party, the NCP, could be joining this bloc. So the allies, in a sense, are ganging up against Congress, and they too are fracturing and breaking the alliance. You're to blame as well.
No, Karan, that's not true. Actually, we had suggested that UPA should contest as UPA. Then everybody would have been together. So that is something which could have brought us together at the national level. I am not going to repeat myself, but what I am saying is that the Congress party refused that alliance.
Yes, I understand. I understand. You've already told us that the Congress party is to initially blame. I'm now saying after that, when people like Mulayam, Lalu, Paswan and very possibly Sharad Pawar start forming a little bloc within the UPA to isolate Congress, then the second lot of blame goes to you.
No, we are still having our alliance in Maharashtra, and we are contesting together. It is not merely the alliance between parties. We are actually working together in Maharashtra.
Well, you say you're working.
Win.
You say you're working together, and maybe in Maharashtra that's true, but sadly, Neerja, nowhere else does it remain true. Do you get the feeling that the problem has arisen because different components of the UPA at different times have actually put their own individual party interests ahead of the alliance? They all want to grow, but none of them is prepared to make a compromise for the sake of the alliance, and as a result, the alliance is falling apart.
I think that's one part of the story, but the Congress has been very confused on whether it wanted to have alliances or whether it wanted to go it alone. Now on UP and Bihar, they are saying we want the party to revive. An alliance would have been detrimental to the interests of the Congress. If that was the case, you should have started reviving the party 2 years ago. If not 2 years, 6 months ago. You should have alerted your cadre. You should have worked out who is going to stand for elections. You don't wake up to it on the eve of elections.
And what about the point you heard Mr. Moily make, that we've never been in favor of coalitions? I mean, you know that if you have a UPA, it has to be a coalition, and you're not going to encourage that alliance if you start saying we're not in favor of coalitions. That's a sort of pushing away factor rather than pulling them closer.
You know, Karan, I get the sense that the Congress may not be playing for this election and maybe getting ready for 2014. If they win this election, fine. If they don't win this election, so be it. So that's, you know, they're not showing that killer instinct that a party should show at election time.
So it's Rahul Gandhi's prospects that matter a lot more than Manmohan Singh this time round. All right, let's take a break at that point. I want to come back, and after the break, I want to ask how much damage has this done to the image of the Congress? Not the UPA this time, but the Congress. Because at the center of the UPA is the Congress, and if the Congress suffers, then the whole of the UPA suffers, provided, of course, it remains intact. That's in a moment's time. See you after the break.